Welcome to another episode of Chromatic Mind, the first Synesthete podcast. This time we have the lovely Mary. Mary, how are you?
Hello. Hi. I'm good, thank you.
So, Mary, thank you so much for being on this episode with me.
Well,
I wanted to know if you could share a little bit about the synesthesia that you have.
Yeah, I have a form of what I would say is mirror touch synesthesia. But I didn't find out about that until probably the last kind of 5 years, I would say. What happens with me, my experience is that I'm able to pick up on other people's pain, aches and pains. Um, and because of my work as a massage therapist, and I'm a counselor as well, but I worked out that's what was going on through being a massage therapist. So it was kind of a quite a journey.
Wow, amazing. As a massage therapist, I guess it's really painful to feel your clients' pain.
Well, yeah, it's interesting because sometimes it can be quite painful, and if I'm feeling it as quite painful, then often that means it's in my language because I've had to very much work out my own language to deal with all of this. So that means, oh, that must be quite sore for that other person. And sometimes it can be as like a touch of a feather, and or just a sensation that I might feel in my body, and then for me that's, oh, there's something going on there. It just really depends on um on the level of pain from kind of one extreme to the other. Yeah.
Sometimes can you feel like the presence of the person that walks into the room, or do you feel it already on
Mm.
the phone while you talk to them?
Yeah. Over a period of time of years now, I've realized that I feel things remotely as well. And that depends. I've never quite worked that bit out because I'm still working a lot of things out, but it feels to me sometimes that it depends on the relationship I have with the person, how well I know them. So I used to think, well, I know that person quite well, so that's why I'm picking up on their Achilles and I'm suddenly limping, and sometimes it can just happen with someone I don't know that well. So for me, there's a bit of a, I'm not quite sure, but I've tested it out many times with people I know well, and I'll say, oh, I'm feeling this pain, and the usual response is, oh, that's my I have got a really sore Achilles. And that was a recent one, actually. I felt that with my dance teacher, and she'd been walking around London and she had a sore Achilles.
Wow, wow, wow. Can you take us back to maybe your earliest memory of feeling
Mm.
this phenomenon?
It's so hard to pinpoint this for me. I imagine a lot of people might feel like that, but um, I always knew there was something different. That's the only way I can explain it, all the way through my childhood. Um, and I think it was quite confusing at times. I remember, if I think back, I think, oh, that's quite confusing. Um, so, but I always had what I would call quite a high empathy or intuition. That's been a big part of my life, hence the work I do or the work I've gone into, which has always been with people, um, working in different settings. Um, but when I trained to be a massage therapist when I was around 21. Um, that was, I'm 53 this year, so that was quite a long time ago. And I think when I started to do that, and that was a complete accident, I just fell into that really because I went to a training course with a friend of mine at work, and she said, "Oh, come and do this massage training with me." And so that just started me off on this new journey. And that's when I started to notice after a few years that I wasn't just feeling my own pain, I was feeling other people's pain. And because I was one to one with that person, it started to become quite clear, but also quite confusing for a while because I didn't know why all this was happening to me or what it
That's
meant.
incredible. Usually people with mirror touch synesthesia, when they feel other people's pain, they're gonna wanna step back. They
Mm,
won't feel if it's this person pain I'm feeling, or is it my own pain? And I'm
mm,
confusing it. And you, what you did is that you embraced it fully, and you're
mm,
helping people
mm,
release this pain.
mm,
That is amazing. You have this ability. It's like you absorb it and you know
mm.
how to release it.
Yes, it's like it's not ever tiring. Um, I think over the years, because I've been doing it for quite a long time and feeling it for quite a long time, I had to create my own language with it because no one else was going to give me a language or an indication of what it was because no one really understood, to be honest. They might say to me, "Oh, that's a bit like Reiki," or "Oh, that's a bit," and like this, and it's nothing like that at all. It's very clear, and some people see it as a bit magical or mystic, but for me, it's kind of it doesn't feel like that. It feels like I'm feeling this in this person's body, and then I'm using that, and the treatment I do is led by that.
Wow.
So when I'm feeling it, I'm thinking, oh, I'm feeling pain in the foot, but I'm up by their head, and I know that I need to work on that area because it's kind of something that might be held in the body. Um, from the past, or sometimes it could be even be something that hasn't happened yet.
Wow, that is
It's like
fascinating.
a kind of language that I've had to create with myself to understand it. Does
Let,
that make sense?
of course it is, because for us in the States, sharing is something that is, I think, very difficult for any synesthete out there. There isn't really a way of explaining this without being, using an absurd language of saying like, I feel you, I feel your pain, but not in a way
Mm.
that, it's just a matter of speech. No, when I say I
Yeah.
see colors, people think that it's something um, picturesque that I'm describing. No, I actually see colors coming from your mouth towards
Mm.
in
Yeah.
geometric shape with chromesthesia. And
Yeah.
yes, some people might say that this could be maybe a form of empathy, that you can feel that. But the thing is with synesthesia is that, sometimes we want to just turn this off and have a little bit of
Mm.
rest. We can,
Mm.
it's just there. We're going to continue on feeling,
Mm.
was feeling, even if we don't want to. We're gonna feel this pain in the foot, even if it's not this strong now, but it's a reflection of what's bothering me in my own foot. You said the use of language, and I wanted to know if you had anyone in your family that you could say maybe they had also mirror touch synesthesia.
I've always wondered because I've spoken to my family about it, and no one's owned up or said anything. But I would imagine I've always felt it must come from somewhere because often I think it is in families. So I don't know. Maybe my son has it, but he's not said he has. So yeah, I don't know.
The study of synesthesia is still in the making.
Mm,
They're still trying to figure out if it's
yeah.
something hereditary, if it's maybe a recessive gene, maybe it's
Mm,
be this dominant. Uh,
yeah.
the thing with synesthesia is that it's like a gene that it's either activated on or either it's off. So there was
Mm,
a case of two synesthete identical twins, and,
mm,
and one of them had synesthesia and the other one didn't. And this is something that is very peculiar, because if they're identical, then they look exactly the same. So there is like
yeah.
a pattern in their DNA sequence that is identical. But something with synesthesia was like, for this girl it's on, and for this girl it's off. So yeah, in a lot of cases of mirror touch synesthesia, I don't think people realize that we all feel. to
mm,
a certain extent. But when do we feel a little bit too much than others? And that is when we need to, it's this subtle, very subtle a way
mhm,
of detecting that it's mirror touch synesthesia. And not many people know that, but they are. We're supposed to be
mm,
feeling one another, but with people that has mirror touch synesthesia, and especially like you with pain, this is not
mm,
something you ask for. This is something that you were born with, and you
yeah,
experience this. Um,
yeah.
do you experience other forms of synesthesia?
No, I don't. As far as I know, that's all I experienced. I haven't experienced any others. I've got quite, I think, what you were saying before about you do because you're merging so much with another person, and it sometimes feels like quite an energetic merge. Then I think I have got really good boundaries where I know what's mine and what's theirs, and I think that really helps me do my work. Um, because I think otherwise it would be quite draining.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and it
I
shows up. It shows up in other ways because I do talk counselling. Do talking therapy as well. I sometimes do feel that when I'm, obviously if I'm sitting with a person, I'm still feeling the same thing. So um, sometimes it's helpful in that work as well. And I'm kind of holding it in one area, thinking, oh yeah, I'm feeling their knee, but I'm just listening to what they're saying. It's like I'm having a bit of a conversation with myself in my head. Yeah, it's an
when
interesting life.
you said like holding in my area and then you did here. When you
Yeah.
feel other people pain, is it in
Yeah.
the body or is it in the brain?
I feel it in the body, but sometimes I feel when it's emotional, I feel it in certain parts, and this is something I'm less clear about than the physical because that's very clear where it is. But sometimes with emotional, I might feel it in certain areas, usually kind of like chest or solar plexus, um, like a sense that that person is in like an emotional distress. So yeah,
Does it make you feel like sensing that someone is an emotional?
very much so. Yeah, I think I've always kind of really felt when people are um emotionally distressed or upset, and I think I really feel that. I guess how could I not when I'm feeling everything else? But yeah, sometimes um that can be, yeah, I have to kind of, because because when I'm counseling, I'm kind of holding that person, the space for the person. I think I've also learned through that to hold that to one side sometimes, and then I get to be with it afterwards. I get to check in about my own, what comes up for me.
The
Yeah.
the feeling of pain, sometimes can you feel certain intensity? Sometimes if someone is experiencing really, really
Mm,
difficult or hard, grave pains, is it something that lingers on with you, or is it something that
mm.
goes away pretty fast?
Yeah. Well, I think mostly it just comes and then it goes. So if someone's coming in to have a massage treatment, and I do quite a lot of like a somatic work with people because of the link with the mind and body and how we hold trauma in the body. I'm seeing people for like an hour and a half. And so I would feel it in that time and then it kind of goes. Sometimes it can be quite intense during the session. And I've even had experiences where this sounds a bit silly, but I'll say it. Sometimes I felt like I've tripped over something or like my knees given way, and I'll say to the person, "Have you recently tripped over something?" Or kind of, and they'll say, "Oh yeah, I have." That's been something that's happened to me. So it's kind of like I'm reliving it somehow, but not in the same way they did. And I don't think I'm experiencing the same pain as the other person. I think I'm experiencing a version of it, and it's clear to me that it's theirs. But yeah, but it does go quite quickly. I don't have it for a long time. Maybe a bit different with my partner because he's with me all the time. That's quite an interesting one.
Have you ever
Yeah.
got to meet or interact with other mirror touch synesthetes?
No,
Wow.
not at all. No,
Wow,
no, I haven't.
wow, wow.
I've met lots of people because of my line of work who are kind of spiritual and who do lots of energy work, but I've never ever met anyone so far that feels like I feel.
Wow.
Yeah.
Would you
So
say that these people, of course, this is something that also synesthesia, once you realize that this is what you have, the more you focus on it, the more that it would sharpen itself. So people
yeah.
can practically go on a lifetime without knowing that they have synesthesia. And at some point, after the age of maybe 70, it would start to
Mm.
slowly degrade and the effect would not be as intense.
Mm.
Do you feel that people that are in this profession as psychotherapists or massagists, that they don't really manage to feel the patient's pain into depth like mirror touch synesthetes would be able to?
Yes, I do. Yeah, and I think my being a massage therapist, like doing being a body worker, has really toned up that that gift I have. The whatever you want to call it, the superpower. I'm using it's like a muscle, isn't it? I'm using it all the time, and I've got really clear about what's the language that I have with that within my body. Um, and that's just something I've had to work out. Yeah, and I think it does help me have a greater empathy um with another person in as a psychotherapist. Definitely.
And
Yeah, another
generally,
dimension.
yeah, generally you have this really, really nice voice and tone and color
Mm,
and this nice aura, very inviting aura that you have. I really must say, like
thank you.
you're radiant. You're like I can tell that you're a healer. Um, I wonder, I wanted to ask something.
Yeah.
Slipped my mind. I'll get back to this, I guess, as we talk. This the
Yeah, it'll come back.
it'll come back. Um, You said that the language within yourself is like there's an inner narrative
Mm.
dialogue that you have with yourself. Is it a synesthete dialogue that you have?
I think when I was starting to notice this more and more, and I was starting to test it out, shall we say, with clients. And I've been lucky enough to have the same clients for a long time, so they're very aware that I have this gift. So they're able to. So if I say to them, "Oh, I'm really noticing that how's your knee been?" And they'll always say, "Oh yeah, I have had a sore knee." But the language I have is when I'm working with people, um, I might feel it in a certain place. So I might feel it in my jaw
Mm.
or my ear, and I'll know that that's something to do with the jaw, because it's almost like I'm noticing the network of the body. So I might feel something, they might say, "Oh, my lower back's really sore on the right." And I might feel a pain in their left hamstring, for instance, for example. And I'll know without fail that that is where the original problem is. And these days, I don't even question it. I totally trust it. So the language is me trusting what I'm feeling and listening and hearing what the client is saying. But for me, it's, "Oh, I'm feeling it in the hamstring. That's where it's coming from, because that's what you are telling me. Your body is telling me. It's I'm kind of in this relationship with their body, and I'm hearing it almost. Does that make sense?
It makes
Yeah.
absolute sense. Yeah.
Mm.
I'm hearing, like I said in previous episode, I can hear trees and plants talk. So
Yeah.
I know that today,
Yeah, you hear trees and plants. Yeah, and I'm
yeah,
hearing bodies.
yeah, everything that vibrates. And now I was reminded by what I wanted to say. There's
Yeah.
an experience with water. They took two glasses of water, they put water
Mm,
in them, and in one glass they said nasty things and not nice words, and we're not showing empathy to
mm,
that water. And towards the other glass of water they did the opposite, and what happened is that the glass of water that was cared for and was shown interest and love and nice words, the water remained still
mm,
and clear, and in the other glass the water became very damp and
yeah.
ugly. Also with plants they did this experiment. It shows that our words, the words that we use to talk to other people, whether if we do it in a positive way or a
Hmm.
negative way, they have certain energy that
Yeah.
leaves an impact on something that allegedly cannot communicate. It's a body that is not communicating, but
Mm,
it has consciousness to feel. If I'm
yeah.
offended or if I'm contempt, I'm happy. And
Mm,
I think that this is exactly what you, as a mirror touch synesthete, you can sense our
yeah.
muscles, the whole system of the body. Sometimes people don't even know where their pain is located because we're
Yeah.
in the cycle of life. It's so hectic. I'm guessing a lot of people would relate to this, that sometimes, you'll be looking at your thigh and you're like, you see a pain mark in there, like a hit mark. You're like, when did I hit my knee? Or when did I hit my thigh? When did this
Yeah.
happen? It's sometimes that, especially now in this generation, we somehow lost connection with our
Hmm.
self, that
Mm,
we have synesthetes that help us reconnect with ourselves. I'm guessing when you feel someone and you feel them in such an intense way, you'd say this to them. You'd be like, what's
mm,
going on? Why?
yeah. 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 And I do a lot of work with people with the within my work, within working so they can understand the nervous system, so
Mm.
they can kind of connect more in with their body than their, so they're not kind of just going with the thoughts, but they're connected more with their body because the body gives so much information all the time to help you manage anxiety and depression and to have more resilience. Yeah. So it's kind of this real connection with an like you were saying about the water, real connection with a kind of energetic
Energetic.
force, a consciousness. There's consciousness there, isn't there, in the water?
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's practically
everywhere.
consciousness in everything. The
Yeah.
fact that you were able to also see, and this is something that sounds very clairvoyant, that you could see in your head that someone is hitting his leg, and you ask them, "Did you stumble?"
Yes.
I can also see that sometimes when people describe something to me or they're
Mm.
trying to remember something, it's like really their mind is projecting that image somewhere, like that's here.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I haven't kind of got to completely understand that um well, the clairvoyant aspect that you're talking about. That's something that I've noticed a lot. So sometimes I might say something and the person will say, "Oh, I was just thinking about that." And then I think, well, do I know that also? But I don't know. It's like, am I kind of knowing but not knowing? So that clairvoyant part of it is something that I haven't completely understood yet. The body work, the body part, the feeling the pain is very much understood by me, and but there's parts of it that I'm still finding out about, and um it wasn't that long ago I realized I was feeling, but why? I mean, I was feeling animals' pain, and I thought, well, why wouldn't I be? Because animals are living beings, and it's no different to me sitting with a human being, and so yeah. It's like it brings new gifts all the time. Mm,
Wow, feeling animals' pain, I guess that's something very
yeah.
intense. You could probably know who has good owners and whose owners are
Yeah.
good to them, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I could know quite quickly.
It's like the plants in the water experiment. Who's getting like the nice
Yeah.
positive words from their
Who's
owner and who's not.
yeah, who's getting the nurturing and who's not?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I wanted to ask about community and other synesthetes, syncing, getting to know each
Yeah.
other. When you came across the definition, mirror touch synesthesia, did you add like someone that influenced you, or how did you find out about this?
Um, to be honest, I got to a point, I think I just got to a point in my life where I thought, what's going on? I want to know more, because it was just happening. And so I just started Googling, I guess, and learning more and more about it. And then I think I watched a couple of programs. I can't remember his name. Is it Joel? I can't remember his surname. I think he's a doctor, and he has mirror touch synesthesia.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
thought,
yeah.
yeah,
I've
that's
seen it
so. I
too.
kind of read lots of stuff, and I thought that's really similar to what I'm feeling, but it kind of also limits it a bit because I don't have to just be in the room with the person. That's when I'm in the room with a person, that's like in this one to one, then that's much clearer. I'm not the other when it's remote, it sometimes comes and it sometimes doesn't, and I don't know about that part. But yeah, I also got in touch with a um professor called Jamie Ward, and I had an email exchange with him because they were doing research, a lot of research
Mm.
into synesthesia, and that was quite helpful at the time. Yeah, and my auntie's been really interested in it, so she was kind of sending me, little videos if she saw them or if it was on Radio 4 or yeah. So it's just been a journey,
Yeah.
really. And then I found the Facebook page. Then I started going on, and I guess I was searching for people who might understand,
That's
or you just don't want to feel so alone with it. So you think, oh, maybe there'll be people out there, and yeah,
well,
and
there's
there is.
apparently there's not a lot of us, but there's enough people that
Yeah,
want to share about their interesting conditions and then
yeah,
their experience and collaborate and this life journeys basically.
yeah.
I wonder how you experience sleeping or perhaps even nightmares. Are they equally vivid?
Um, I have had really vivid dreams my whole life. Yeah. But I don't know if they're any different. I don't suppose I'd know. I don't know if they're any different to anyone else's, but yeah, I don't know if it's affected my sleep.
Hmm.
Um, sometimes, if sometimes it's quite interesting because sometimes I feel stuff going on in the middle of the night, and I'll think, well, and because I'm not fully awake, I'm thinking, well, is that mine? And then suddenly I think, oh no, that's my partner's stuff, and I'm feeling his stuff, and I have to kind of move away a bit because if I touch someone, it's much stronger. So yeah, but I haven't had I don't think it's affected my dreams. I don't know about that one. Interesting question.
Yeah, well, synesthesia is never being turned off, not even for a second. When I go
Yeah.
to sleep, I never feel emotions in an intense way in my dreams. I never see people that
Mm.
I love in my dreams. I never see like family relatives, etc. What I do see is that I see their voices. So based on the color of the voice that I see in my dream, I know who is speaking. So I know I'd be dreaming about my mother, but I don't physically see her. It's like
Oh,
I never see an actual body. I only see energy in my dreams.
that's so interesting. So you see color,
Yeah, I
and
see,
then you know who the color represents.
yes,
That's
yes,
really interesting.
yes.
Hmm.
And I wonder if maybe in dreams you can experience also the other people that you're dreaming about. That would be amazing.
Yeah, I'll have to kind of,
Focus
yeah,
on.
I'll have to see what happens with that. Yeah. Maybe I'm already doing it and I just don't know. Maybe I haven't kind of, that hasn't clicked yet.
What does it feel like living together with someone who might experience pain? Can you detect pain before it becomes, like really serious? Can you detect it like when it starts to tell people you should really take care of that? Because this is not this.
Yes, I have done that before. Yeah. But there have been kind of interesting moments for me, not maybe not for the obviously not for the client because they're going through something, but there have been times in the past where I felt certain things that I'm not quite sure I didn't know the language for it. And it might have been that I'd felt quite unwell, like felt quite sick. That's happened before, and it was quite an intense feeling. I didn't know what that meant at the time. That person, did have a heart problem and they had a heart attack, but I didn't know that that's what that meant. But I haven't felt it since, so I'm not sure. There's been a couple of times I've had feelings that I wasn't completely sure of what they meant, and then that person has had something happen. Um, so some of that was quite new. I've forgotten what you asked me again. If I knew things before they happened, yeah. Actually, when I met my partner, David, we met online. So that was quite interesting because after we'd been kind of chatting for a while and stuff, and I was chatting to him and I started getting this feeling in my ribs, and I thought, oh, should I say something? What should I do? Because I thought if I tell him, what's he going to think about me?
Wow.
And I said to him, oh, I've got this thing where I can feel what's going on with people physically anyway. And I said, oh, I think there's something going on with your rib. Have you fallen recently? It's quite painful. And yeah, he said, how did you know? I've fallen off my bike. I've hurt my rib. And I said, is it your right rib? And then it was kind of, I was able to say what I was feeling. So got it out there. And yeah, so and that interested me because I didn't know him particularly well. So, but I think there was a connection. So it's something to do with the connection with the other person, and the remote feeling. But
This is incredible.
I'm not sure. I'm still working on that one.
That is incredible. I want to say something. There's a case that really scared me in the past is that
Mm.
I think there's a study that showed that 20% of people who die from a heart attack, which is something that can happen to anyone, heart
Mm.
failure, um, they said that there are signs like 4 days in advance to the heart attack, for this climax of the heart failure.
Mm.
And people don't pay attention to that. And then I saw an interview with a woman, and then she said that she was suffering for 4 days from and not feeling her hand and then getting back a feeling and then twitching here in the chest. And she kept on going to work and driving
Mm.
back home until she had the heart failure. And luckily she was rescued. But I always thought to myself, how can a person
Mm.
not notice for 4 days that something is severely wrong with them? And
Yeah.
this is why I think, like, truly being mirror touch synesthete is a gift. You can literally
Mm.
save people around. You'd feel that. You'd feel
Mm.
the tiniest pain long before this happened. But
Yes. Yeah, you do feel it like that. And like I think I was saying at the beginning, sometimes the feeling is so small. It's like someone's just kind of pulled a feather across your leg or something, but you know that it's it's almost like a sense that something's not quite right in that side of the body, or it can be so kind of such a light touch and just a sensation, and then it can be the opposite end. It's different in every case, really. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I wanted to say another thing about dreams. I see the energy in color, but sometimes the only person that I can recognize is me. I do reality checks in my dreams to see that it's me.
Hmm.
Um, and to see that I am basically my consciousness is awake during that dream, which is something that is very common apparently for synesthetes to have
Mm,
lucid dreams most of the time. But sometimes when I do see the body figure or the shape of the face, then it's very, very vivid, but also vivid in color. So I would see the color of the energy of that person. Sometimes if I'm during a dream and I look in the mirror and I see myself, then I don't see myself the way that you would see me. I see my color. I see purple because my voice is purple. Um,
mm,
I wonder if there's any other synesthete that feel this way. I would really, uh,
yeah, that's
you know,
fascinating. Yeah.
you know that synesthesia is considered a neurological disorder,
Mm,
but one that those who have it are not suffering from it. On the contrary, they have skills. They learn how to, conduct their life more than normally. I mean, for you, it became an actual profession to
hmm.
help other people. This is amazing. By the way, as an offer, if anyone could just enlist all the therapists that are synesthetes, then this is the type of therapist that I would
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
the type
absolutely.
of therapist that I would love to see. Sometimes we are losing touch with ourselves.
Yes.
It's like it's like
Yeah.
it's like a when your mother knows you haven't eaten all day and she's like, "What did you eat? Did you eat today?
Yeah.
You gotta eat."
Yeah.
So it's this. It's like you pay attention on things in
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's
It's on a much deeper level. It's like another kind of dimension. And yeah, sometimes I just, when I'm working with a person, like in psychotherapy, sometimes I do just know things. And whether that's kind of the mirror, like the mirror touch, that kind of, or that's like the intuitive part of it, because I think there is a highly intuitive side to it. Maybe even clairvoyant, I don't know. That's the bit I've always been a bit more interested in finding about, because I think when I was younger, I probably did have that. I remember having quite, I remember having experiences when I was younger, kind of hearing things and seeing things, and um, or being just very in tune with things that I might not be able to see, that weren't kind of visible to other people. And I don't want to say ghosts or spirits, or there was just like a feeling that there was there was kind of other energies,
yeah, and
or
especially as
yeah,
children, children are super
yeah,
intuitive. They just know. They just know.
yeah, yeah. So I think there was always, like I say, I felt like there was something different, but I didn't know what that was until I got older. Hmm. Yeah. But I've also always been able to be, always had great empathy and been able to kind of feel what's going on with people, um, very easily, including myself.
Wow.
Yeah, kind of know what's and kind of really tune into what's happening. Yeah.
You
Mm.
work with your hands. Can you
Mm.
say that you have a stronger side? Is it right or left? Are you maybe an ambidextrous? You control both sides.
Mm. I think my right side is stronger when I'm working. Yeah. I'm right-handed, but I do feel it's stronger. But then I still feel it when I'm kind of using both hands. And I think what's interesting is when I'm working as a massage therapist, I kind of work on both sides of the body. So like when you're taught massage, you like do the left leg, do the right leg, and then it's a bit like a driving license. Once you've got your massage therapy qualification, you go off and you do your own thing. And I guess I've been doing it for so long now, I kind of do it my own way. And I always kind of work on both legs at the same time, or, it's kind of it's very holistic. There's not a routine. It's quite, I guess I might be up at someone's shoulder, and if I feel something on their foot, then I'm down at the foot quite quickly. I think people have just got used to me working like that. Yeah.
That's
And
interesting.
yeah.
As synesthete, for me, the knowing right or left is
Oh, that's
it's
a big
problematic.
problem.
Yeah, it's problematic. If I
Yeah.
wasn't writing with my left hand, I wouldn't even know that I'm left-handed. I wouldn't.
Yeah. I do struggle with my rights and lefts as well. Yeah. Um, and lots of things like that, actually, tying up shoelaces, all sorts of things. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Would you say that for you, synesthesia is either a blessing or a curse?
Oh, I'd have to say it's a blessing. Yeah. I do. I do. I really love it. I love this part of myself. I think it took me a long time to just to understand what it was, but now it's yeah, I see. I mean, I call it a gift. It is a gift because I use it every day to help people, and it's I mean, it's really cool, isn't it? I mean, who wouldn't want to? I mean, it's a great thing. I can kind of just tune in and help people in a one-to-one situation. Sometimes I just feel it randomly when I'm at a shop, getting my groceries, and I might feel the person behind the counter. I don't always, what I have learned is I suppose I don't always say anything. Sometimes I don't feel I need to say anything. It's just a noticing. I guess that's something I wonder, but should I be saying that? Should I be telling this person that, or should I keep it to myself? Or in a clinical situation, when I'm working with a client, it's definitely appropriate. But do I say that to someone, I'm walking past in the street, or I don't know.
Yeah, I
Haven't
know.
haven't done it's a
I know
tricky one.
it's very weird to just see people and tell them I'm a synesthete and I don't like the color of your voice because it tastes horrible. So
Yeah,
I find myself hardly say this to people, but sometimes if people ask me about this condition and they would see, oh, what's the color of my voice? Is it delicious? And if it's not, then I tell them it's not. It's not a nice
yeah,
color and it doesn't taste good either.
yeah. You have a very intuitive feeling about, who you want to be in the energy, whose energy you want to
Oh, I choose
be
my
mixed
people
with.
carefully. I guess you are too.
Yeah, I'm the same. Yeah, yeah.
I choose my people carefully. Is there a message that you have for other mirror touch synesthetes like you?
Yeah, go out and I think find out if there's other people that you can connect with who have a similar, a similar synesthesia, or yeah, and embrace it, I think, and
Embrace.
find a way of working with it that kind of, because I really believe in working with parts of yourself. So I
Mhm.
guess there's this part of me that a huge part of me that has this gift, as I call it, and I think it's really important to befriend it and learn a language with it and understand it, so you can kind of, because it's there, and it's part of you. So for me, it's about befriending it and getting to know it and embracing it. Yeah.
Is there like something that you would recommend other people with mirror touch synesthesia might feel like the other people energy drain them? There's
Mm.
something that you could recommend them that would be therapeutic for this, something that they could do with themselves to relieve this pain.
Mm. Yeah. Um, I think it's just kind of, I think it's about letting it go and not holding on to it, and acknowledging that it's not yours, it is theirs. And it's hard to know because I don't know whether it might be a different feeling for other people. That's the thing. So it's hard for me to say, but for me, it's kind of the most important thing is that knowledge of what's mine and what's theirs. And I can put it into a sense that I'm working with this person, so it has a boundary to it. But I think it must be really difficult. But yeah, self-care definitely.
Self-care.
And I guess sometimes you do need to spend a lot of time on your own recharging.
Yeah. I wanted to ask something. I
Mm,
I noticed that massage therapists and therapists in general, they always have their own playlist that they use when
mm,
they're touching someone. Um, for me, I personally, I don't know why, maybe because I am sensitive to that. I don't like being touched by other people's.
mm,
People don't know how to touch you, and it's difficult for me. Uh,
mm,
but I did notice that certain music helps the muscles relax.
mm,
Is there something that you would, as a synesthete, would recommend to play on? Can you feel it? The how certain people body reacts to music. You also said that you were dancing, and I imagine that you would experience dancing in the
yeah.
most amazing way, because when people dance, when people move their body, it's very magical to see it.
Yeah, yeah, I love dancing. I love moving my body. I do tribal belly dancing and I really enjoy the music. It's got a really deep bass and I like that. When I'm working in massage therapy, I spend a lot of time making up my playlist because music's really important to me. The whole experience is important. So, um, how people hear the music is important, what they're listening to. And for me, I think I think that I choose music that I know I'm going to want to work with. If it's off, then I would find that kind of irritating.
Mhm.
Like some music I find irritating. So I would say kind of music that is less kind of synthesizer type music. So it might be kind of what you might call new age music, which I have listened to in the past, but I tend to kind of pick my own playlist now and quite like to have quite like a slow beat and um everything has to be quite slow. Yeah.
So in
So
order to
from
keep it more
yeah,
relaxed, or
yeah, it has to be relaxing because I work slowly. I don't work. It's not a fast massage, it's quite slow because I want to sense what's happening. So
yeah, when you go out and you dance, and you obviously dance with a group of other people,
other women, yeah.
other women, can you feel their body, how it reacts to the music?
Yes, yeah, I can. And sometimes as I'm dancing, I feel their feel their aches and pains, and thinking, "Oh, I'm feeling. Oh dear, she's got a sore leg or a sore knee." And yeah, that's happened many times. Yeah, it was my dance teacher's Achilles. I felt she messaged me on Facebook, and I messaged her back, and I said, "Oh, you've got my." And I was out on a walk with my dog, with our dogs, and I said to David, "Oh, my Achilles, that's my Achilles. That's not mine. That's hers." I said, "Oh, your poor Achilles." And she said, "How did you know that?" Yeah, I said, "You know what I'm like."
Wow. First of all, it's really it's really amazing that people still show up for a dance class when they feel pain. I mean, I wouldn't. I'd stay home.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, they should stay home and rest it, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Or get a massage.
Beautiful, 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 Mary. Is there anything you want to add? You want to say?
No, I was just really glad to speak to you. I've been looking forward to it and just talking to you because you also have this wonderful gift as well. It's great to talk to someone else that experiences it. Yeah, and hopefully I'll be able to talk to other people. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure having you on Chromatic Minds, and getting to know you, and this journey that you went through, and this beautiful gift that you have. I will certainly now, I think I would start paying more attention to how my body feels, and how even the music that I play around me is affecting me, because I think that us as synesthetes, we don't like this mainstream music, that is just with beats, and there's something very stressful about it.
Hmm.
But I think like really therapeutic music for the mind, body, and soul is something that could really do and could really benefit with my muscles after
Ah, I can share my playlist to you on
that's not.
Spotify. Yeah. Or you can go on and look for them. Yeah.
Hey, that's amazing. I'd love it. I'll add a link. And sometimes I notice that when I sit down a lot, because in my work I
Yeah.
sit down a lot and it's very tiring to my muscles. But so
Yeah.
I need to
Sitting, sitting really affects our muscles a lot. And I think we do that a lot more now. I
find.
certainly do because I work remotely quite a lot. And yeah, I have to do a lot of yoga to get by. Yeah. But it is really important to kind of go into your body. I kind of talk to people about a container in their body and, keep an eye on your container. How's it feeling? How are you feeling today? How much
That's
can you put
interesting.
in that container and how much, you know,
That's
how much space
interesting.
have you got?
It's interesting that you call it a container. What
Mm.
does it contain exactly?
But I think it's like how much stress do you want to put into your body today? So if you've got a lot going on, then maybe your container is full up. So you might have less room and like a kind of checking in with yourself.
Yes, yes, yes. And one last question.
Hmm.
What would the perfect synesthete world would look like?
Oh, really colourful,
Really colorful, that's indeed.
really colourful. Um, Peaceful.
Peaceful.
Yeah, harmony.
Do you think pain would be a part of it?
Um, I think it would. Yeah, I think it would. But I think it would be kind of maybe recognized a bit more or noticed. So we could kind of realize that it's just the body trying to help us. When we get pain, it's like slow down or take a break or look after yourself, or the body's just constantly giving messages. And yeah, it's a it's always trying to communicate with you, and it's just about listening to it and checking in with that container to see how much you're going to put in each day.
Wow, you just said something so, so wise. I think we
Mm,
dedicate more attention to our phone when our phone
mm,
is telling us, you need to clear storage, you need to plug me to the charger right now, otherwise, you need
yeah,
to do this, you need to do that. You
yeah,
need to update my version. There's a new version of me, and we're in a race. It's like if it looks like a tiny container of ourselves because
yeah,
we exist through these phones, through these apps, through
mm,
social media, basically our whole essence of likings and disliking, and everything that we do, we like in life, whether, even if it's music, it's
mm,
in this device, and we pay more attention to this, and we end up not being in sync and in touch with ourselves, and that's
yeah, yeah. And we go too much into our heads.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And you can only work so much out in your head. Well, feelings anyway.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I think that's a
Mm.
really beautiful message you brought here, to pay attention, to take care after our container.
Yes, take care of your container. Yeah,
That's beautiful, Mary.
definitely.
Thank you so much. It's been really lovely having this conversation with you. I wish you all the best and may you prosper and continue on healing people. You have really such a healing energy to you.
Thank you. Yeah, I intend to carry on doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, everyone who's seeing this or listening to me, thank you for joining another episode of Chromatic Minds with the lovely Mary. And until next time, bye bye.